All right, what is up, all you real estate loving individuals? This is episode number 4 of the Real Estate Take podcast, and I'm your host, Wendell Butler. This is your go-to podcast with tons of information regarding the current real estate market, where we get various real estate professionals' current take on different areas within real estate. For today's guest, we have Dylan Gendreau. Dylan Gendreau is a sales and service technician at Debug Pest Control in Smithfield, Rhode Island. With almost 10 years of pest control experience, Dylan specializes in home inspections for new home buyers, property owners, managers, and investors. He has an expertise in preventative treatments, which provides a peace of mind for homeowners, real estate investors. He can identify past and or present infestations, help with issues that could impact resale, and help with hoards, sanitation issues, and active infestations. That sounds pretty dirty, and it's always good to get into this information within real estate, because real estate isn't all shiny and happy things. There's a lot of dirty stuff that come along with it. So let's introduce Dylan Gendreau. Dylan, how you doing today,
Hello, Del. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Doing great. Did you have a good day today working?
I did. Had a great day. Another dirty day in the books doing pest control, but a lot of happy customers, a lot of saved customers. So it was an excellent day.
That is good. Yeah, I feel like your job should be like on Dirty Jobs. I think that show is still running.
I think it might have been. But yes, it is very disgusting. And like you said, real estate is not all, glitz and glam. There's dirty aspects to it. And that's where I come in.
Absolutely. Yeah. And a lot of people don't want to deal with that themselves. Like even myself, I don't want to deal with that. So I thought it'd be awesome to have you on this podcast today, because I do like to bring on, realtors, investors, and people along those lines. But it's also good to see other parts of real estate that people might not think about when they're getting into investing or buying, or even the home buying process as a whole. And pest inspection, home inspections are a huge part of that. So can you dive? I just want to start off by getting to know you a little more so you can tell the audience. So like, where are you from? And can you go a little deeper into your backstory and what got you into real estate services, especially the profession that you're currently in?
Sure. Well, I'm from Brooklyn, Connecticut. I went to high school with you, Del.
Hey.
I've known you a long time. But yeah, so after high school, I wanted to do something different. I worked at supermarkets and stuff like that. I didn't go to college. I just wanted to work. That's all I wanted to do. So I wanted to do something different. So after the supermarket gig was up, I said, let's try something different. I want to help people. Let's help them in a different way. I saw an ad for Debug Pest Control. I applied, and here we are almost 10 years later. And, I absolutely love what I do. I love making people happy and helping the public every single day.
Yeah. And did you ever did you always want to get into like real estate kind of services as a whole? Was it kind of just you wanted to help people and you thought it was the best way to kind of get into that?
Yeah, I just wanted to help people. And then along came like real estate. Like I met, different real estate agents and different home buyers and home flippers and house hackers and things like that. And, word of mouth spread, and I was able to work with them.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it definitely something that you need to be sure you know about and know how to handle when you're purchasing a property, especially in some of the areas that we live in. It can have some big infestations, especially in the dirty areas of the town. I mean, everybody has cities and towns, and they know those areas that can get pretty rough. Those are the ones that you might have to go into a lot, huh?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Repeat visits. Yes.
Yeah. So can you just dive into kind of the importance of your job? Like, what is your day-to-day task, and why should someone that is purchasing a home or even investment or even have a problem call you? Like, why can't they just do it themselves or something?
So a lot of times people will try to do things themselves when they see a problem, but they don't always know the logistics behind everything and how to actually get that done. That's where I come into play. As far as buying a new property, first-time home buyers, refinancing, things like that, it's essential to have a pest control guy go out there and really inspect the whole entire premises, because we look for things that you may not even know existed in your own home.
Yeah.
Things like past and present termite damage, powder post beetles, anything like that that can cause structural damage needs to be identified, addressed right away, and that's where we come in. And you want to make sure your home is sound and steady and safe. You're going to have a family there, whatever the case may be, or, flip it and sell it. So that's really where I come into play.
Yeah, absolutely. And even Since I'm a loan officer, I'll shed some light on kind of some loans that do require certain inspections.
Hmm.
One is like the termite inspection for
Yeah.
VA loans, and as a veteran myself, I use a VA loan.
Hmm.
You have to get a termite inspection. They don't let you not get it,
Right.
and that's basically to make sure that the property doesn't have that infestation, because the termites can actually destabilize a whole property, break the structure down, right?
Absolutely. I did 2 VA inspections today, so yeah.
Yeah. You gotta make sure, like, what do you make sure, like, from the ground up it doesn't have any? Do you just
Yeah,
check
it's
kind of
just
the
ground
ground?
up. So generally, we're walking the perimeter of the outside of the building, looking for any structural damage that could be possible termite evidence or activity, and then we're going in the basement because it all starts at the ground level and then works its way up. If we see activity that's present, we think there could be something larger at play. Then we'll actually start banging on walls, opening walls, and going up to the attic.
Yeah, and can you see this from just walking around the property? Or do you have to like dive in deeper and actually go within the wall sometimes to kind of see?
Right. So, like the start of an infestation will be visible on the outside. You'll see termite mud tubings. It looks like somebody threw a piece of mud or Play-Doh on the foundation of the house. That's their entry point into the house. So, if you
Mhm.
catch that early enough, you could see that before they even enter the home. Once they enter the home, you have to wait for the adults to come out, start mating. That's what we call swarmers. They swarm around the windows, around the doors. At that point, it's essentially too late. They're already in the walls of the house.
Ugh,
Yeah.
gross. Is it true that you can hear termites like in your
Yeah,
walls?
yeah. If the infestation is bad enough, yeah. I mean, me and a couple of the guys, we have little stethoscopes, and if it's that bad, you can go up to the wall and hear them munching, hear them actually eating
Ooh,
your house from the inside out.
that is strange.
Yeah, yeah.
I think carpenter ants too, right? You can kind of hear carpenter ants a little bit.
Carpenter ants, yeah, they don't do the extent of damage that termites do, but they will eat wood, surrounding wood, and leaf debris and stuff like that. You can hear them chew. Yeah.
Yeah, like termites literally eat through the whole post of like wood. Like they'll eat the whole thing, but carpenter ants kind of just go through it and like
Carpenter
make
ants, yeah,
little
they'll make little
pathways.
holes. They tend to spit out the fibers a little bit too. When you see carpenter ants, you'll see what we call frass, and it's like little sawdust. But their main intent isn't to destroy the home like a carpenter ant is. I mean, like a termite is, excuse me. Termites, they just eat and eat, reproduce, eat and eat. Carpenter ants will just eat wood for a snack, and then that's it.
Okay. Yeah, because like I know the Northeast does have a lot of carpenter ant problems too, for sure.
Oh yeah, oh
But
yeah,
termites are a much bigger deal.
absolutely.
Um, so, do you have like a good story when like an unexpected pest was present that maybe like a buyer saw or didn't see, but they realized it later on, and then you found out it was like a bad situation and helped them out?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
what?
So I actually have a couple. I mean, the two that come to mind are, one of them is piggybacking off termites. This termite. I went for a normal inspection. Guy had no clue. Just bought his first property. Wanted
Mhm.
to flip it. Had no clue what he was looking for. So he got had me come out there and look at it. He said, I saw some little bugs. I don't know what they were. I go down to the basement and my hand literally goes through the wall like Swiss cheese. Termites
Oof.
come pouring out like a horror movie. So I said, yeah, we got to address this now. I mean, you're not gonna be able to build off of this. He wanted to do an addition. I said just, so and then I referred him to certain contractors that I knew, ended up saving him some money in the long run. I hooked him up with the termite service, and now his house is golden. But, it's just the people that have absolutely no idea what to look for. And then they go down Google and Reddit rabbit holes, and,
Yeah.
and then one thing leads to another. And that's why it's best just to call us. The other one that I'll touch on was pest identification. A lot of people don't realize what certain pests are and how to identify them. I got a call for, a lady said she's overrun by just ground beetles, just beetles coming out of the ground. I said, well, that doesn't seem right. I go there, it's a full-on horde, absolutely like the movie Hoarders, roaches
Oof.
falling off the ceiling tiles, falling off lights and coming out of light sockets. And, but she had no idea what she was dealing with. She just thought they were just harmless beetles.
Yeah.
When she was dealing with an absolute health hazard that I had to get the state involved, but we ended up getting her help as well. So those are two that come to mind.
Yeah, like in those situations, you wear like hazmat suits to like
Yeah,
go
yeah.
in there.
If I walk in and see a horde and I'm looking up and there's bugs falling on me, yeah, I'll grab the suit. Absolutely.
And then like the owner's just like, I don't know what this is. And she's like
Yeah,
standing in the horde. You're like,
yeah.
yeah, can you get out of here?
Yeah, yeah. There's a few bugs that I saw, and I'm like, I don't know where they're coming from. I'm like, well, I got a pretty good idea.
Yeah, it's not a few bugs. It's
Yeah.
your whole ceiling.
Full blown infestation. Yeah, your house is moving. Your walls are moving.
Oh my god. Yeah. So that's something that like I even myself personally have like run into. Like when I brought my duplex in the Northeast, I found like a carpenter ant, just like one or two carpenter ants. But I know that if you find a couple, then that means that they could be like a nest somewhere.
Right. Right.
Possibly.
There's never just a few. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember I what did I do? I saw a couple, and then the first thing I did was I had the tenants kind of clean up all their food because they're leaving food out, and that's one of the main
Yeah.
reasons that attracts them. Gets them in
Sanitation.
Yeah. So they cleaned that up, and then I ended up spraying all like the walls with like that
Hmm.
bug spray so like they can't
Hmm.
enter anything. And I think
Hmm.
luckily I got to it before like they all came in. I think it was just
Yeah.
a few and the nest wasn't in there. But I
Yeah.
remember like the tenants were like, "We hear stuff in the walls."
Oh
And
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I would like go up there and I'm like, I don't hear anything. I think they're just having like
Right. They just
a
have a
little
breakdown. Yeah.
nervous, like nervous
Yeah.
anxiety. But yeah, it just goes to show that like you want to once you see a bug too, like that could
And
be more than something, then you should probably look more into it rather than just like hit it and be like, okay, like we're good.
right. Exactly. And like that, like as we've touched on before, and you as a multiple property owner, every almost every inside insect, interior insect, with the exception of termites, it comes down to sanitation.
Hmm.
You improve that. You make sure your tenants are keeping up on that. It's half the battle right there.
Now, if you have like non-wood structure, like some of these newer houses are made with
Sure.
I don't know what they're made with specifically. I'm not in construction as much, but I guess like ceramic type stuff or cement or
Yeah.
do you have to worry about termites with those specific particularly
Yeah.
or
So I mean, they could still be present in the yard. They could be eating trees around the yard. They could be eating a wooden shed that's on your property. They may not penetrate the house as much, but they still could eat vinyl siding, stuff like that. Still crawl up the stone foundation, anything like that. I mean, there's always a risk, especially in the areas that I service. With heavily wooded areas, that they're there and they can enter.
yeah, can termites eat like a tree to the point that it falls?
Absolutely. Over time, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, even if you have like a cement house, if there's trees around you, like making sure that termites aren't eating trees that could fall on your house is
Yeah,
probably
no, I mean, it's not that crazy to think of. It happens.
yeah, those bugs are insane. Like
Yeah, they are. They
it's
are. They
crazy.
just live to eat, and that's it.
Live to eat wood. Imagine.
Yep, they just love wood.
All right, so talking about termites, let's talk about some rankings of the worst
Sure.
pests and some of the least worst pets. So,
Okay.
based on your experience, like what would you rank each pest like that you normally see, and which
Sure.
ones you would definitely like as an owner if you see them, like you should definitely get checked out immediately, and
Yeah.
others that maybe not at first. You don't have to really be that that like scared or nervous, but
Sure.
maybe
Sure.
later down the line you might need to.
All right, so we'll do the top three worst. Coming in at number three is going to be rats. I mean, they're gnarly. They're disgusting. They carry disease.
Mhm.
They do a lot of destruction to homes. They'll chew wires. They'll chew through sheetrock. They'll chew through plywood. And they'll come and eat all your food and poop all over the place and causing a health hazard. That's my number three. Number two, for worse, would be German roaches. Just again, they're disease ridden. They multiply by the hour.
Mhm.
They'll eat absolutely anything and breed. They'll breed up in the corners of the house. They'll breed it behind lights. They'll breed underneath your bed.
Mhm.
Number one would be termites. Yeah, just because of the actual structural damage they cause. They come in sheer numbers, and there's almost no predicting them.
Yeah.
The three that you wouldn't have to really worry about. Number three, I'd go with any stinging insect, like a wasp or a bee or anything like that. Just because they're really easy to control. They're not likely to infest the inside of your house. They can cause an eyesore of a nest on the outside, but that's easily taken down by us.
Yeah.
Number two, I'll say mice. Now, even though mice are a nuisance and people hate them, they get into every single house in the world. Almost every house in the world has mice. They're a little bit easier to control than rats. Your simple snap traps or peanut butter will eliminate them. It may be an ongoing issue, but if we find the entry point, then that solves them. The number one easiest, I would say, is probably ants, like your little basic tiny sugar ants, pavement ants. Again, easy to control. You know where the source is. You eliminate the source, and that pretty much wipes them out.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's true. Like mostly the pets that can really cause disease problems in the house, structural damage, are the ones you want to worry about the most immediately. Like if you see them, you need to get get something,
Yeah.
someone in there.
Yeah, you see one roach that's nothing. You don't want to go to Dollar General and buy hot shot roach killer because it's not going to do anything. You know, you got to call us in there. You know.
Well, you see like those movies and TV shows when they'll like people will turn the lights on in a room and all the roaches scurry
Yeah,
away.
Yeah.
Like they're hiding. So if you see one, then that means there's probably like maybe hundreds more. You just don't
That's
know.
a normal Wednesday for me, Del. Going into an apartment and turning on the light and seeing them scatter.
They're like, ah! You're like, yeah, you have a roach bomb. They're like, what?
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah.
So like, what do you do with roaches usually? Do you just set up traps or do you bomb the place? Like, what is?
So generally for roaches, we go around and we use a gel bait. It's in a tube. It looks like peanut butter, and we kind of just hit where they are. It's always mostly going to be the kitchen and bathrooms, high moisture areas, areas with food and water. And we put down the bait. They eat the bait. It works its way through the system. It causes brain hemorrhaging, and they die. Worst cases, we'll go on with an acetol machine or a heavy duty spray and just knock them that way.
Interesting. Cool. And then I'm surprised that like fleas and bed bugs weren't on your list. Are those not as common, or they're pretty easy? Like once
exactly, they're not fleas are actually kind of common, but fleas are wicked easy to get rid of. I mean, it's just you go in with the contact insecticide aerosol, you spray it. If the tenant keeps up with their vacuuming, fleas will be eliminated within a couple days. Bed bugs I absolutely hate bed bugs. There's no reason why they should exist on this earth. I don't know why they're here. They're absolutely disgusting. But here's the thing with bed bugs is they're not as common as people think. And they don't transmit disease. So they suck your blood. You may have a couple bumps here and there. They're a real pain to get rid of. But I was kind of looking into like the disease factor and the structural factor.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, I've never had bed bugs, and I don't think I ever do want to.
You don't want them. You don't want anything on that list.
No, absolutely not. That sounds good. Fleas I've had because I have animals, and it just happens. But yeah, those are. I basically give my dog like a pill for fleas, and it basically just kills them all because like they bite my dog and they just die. They just disintegrate.
There's pills. There's flea collars. There's a bunch of different preventatives out there. And fleas, like I said, they suck because they multiply fast, but they are pretty manageable.
Yeah. Cool. So speaking of all these pests in the rankings, tell us one of your craziest stories like regarding a job that you went on. What is like the most disgusting job you've gone on that made you possibly even question your line of work?
Yeah. It's a tough one. Honestly, it's probably it's probably a bed bug job I did. And it wasn't a bed bug job to start. It was a mouse job. And I'll explain what happened. Del, I might have told you this, around a campfire one night, but I'll tell it to everybody. So I go to this lady's apartment for a mouse call. She says there's mice in the walls. They're coming out from the radiators. Can you check out and plug any holes? So I'm leaning over her recliner and I'm putting down mouse traps and stuff. And on her recliner, she has one of those flaps where it holds like your remote and your eyeglasses and your cell phone and your bag of candy, whatever. So a bunch of stuff in there. And it's hitting my shirt. I don't think anything of it because I'm there for a mouse call. I thought. I put down the mouse traps. I look up and on my shirt is about 20 baby bed bugs. And bed bugs are master hiders. So now they're hiding in my pockets. They're hiding behind the buttons of my shirt. They're going in my undershirt. And I say to the lady, I said, do you realize you have a massive bed bug infestation? And she goes, oh. Because I just thought I was itchy because of the mice. Right. So, I spent the next couple hours, spraying my truck and spraying myself and changing my shirt in the parking lot and taking my pants off. And there's bed bugs in my shoes. And so basically the entire time I'm focusing on trying to fix mouse holes. The bed bugs are just crawling all over me like a giant human buffet.
That's so disgusting. Do you think bed bugs got in there because the mice brought them in, maybe? Or
no? Generally, mice and bed bugs, they won't really go hand in hand. Mice and fleas more so. She lived, in an elderly, housing building, and I think maybe they just came from somewhere else in a wall void or something, and they focused on her unit because she just sat in that chair all day, so it was a constant food source.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Man. Well, I hope you helped her out. Did you end up solving the problem and helping her out?
I did. After my little mental breakdown, I went back in, suited up and stuff, and I helped her out and try to, educate her on bed bugs and why she may have them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a big thing about like not letting those occur is actually like educating people on just little signs and marks that they can
Yeah,
look
yeah,
for.
absolutely.
So could you actually dive into that and kind of break down for home buyers and realtors, like what are some signs, some simple signs they should look for possible pest issues? Maybe when they're looking at a house to buy, or even in
Absolutely.
their own home, if they suspect something, like where should they look and what for?
Yeah, so generally what you want to look at when buying a house or anything like that, you want to start in the exterior. You want to look, like I mentioned earlier, for those mud patches. Anything that looks suspicious, like mud on the house, that indicates that there's termite highways and termites nearby. When you get into the house and you look into the basement, you want to look for droppings, mouse droppings that look like little tiny black grains of rice. If you look on top of the sill plate in your foundation and you notice grease marks, was what we call them, like thick bands of black soot and brown soot, that indicates an active mice infestation. Same thing with the attic. You look for droppings and those grease marks again. Also, you want to take a look in attics too for any droppings that may be in a pile, like somebody dumped rice in a pile. That indicates bad activity. A lot of attics, especially in the Northeast, bats find their way in, and they get up there. But those are things you really want to look for. And then upon moving in and moving things around and like just look for any insects, any dead insects, or anything that's a cause of concern in your house. Just take a picture and send it to your exterminator, and they'll be able to tell you what it is and if it's cause for concern. It could be just a harmless beetle, or it could be something a little more serious that's dormant in the house that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, speaking of bats, aren't bats like much more protected? It's kind of a more pain in the butt to get rid of.
Absolutely. Bats, they're 100% protected. You need a wildlife company to go out there and remove the bat mainly, because you can't actually kill a bat. You can't put traps or anything up there. They have to remove them.
Yeah, you hear that, people? You can't kill bats. Bats are actually I think they're cute. I think they're cool looking.
They're super beneficial. They eat mosquitoes. They eat ticks.
Yeah.
They're awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, they fly. What do they eat? I was Googling them one night, and I think they eat like 10,000 mosquitoes at night.
Yeah. Yeah. They just fly around with their mouths open, and just whatever goes in there goes in the belly.
I think the scary part of that is that there's 10,000 mosquitoes per bat, and there's probably a lot of bats. So that's like millions of mosquitoes, probably literally in a not even not even a half-mile radius of where I live.
It's a lot of mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes, just like bed bugs. Like, why are they there? But I guess it's to feed bats.
No purpose. No purpose.
It's to feed the bats, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bed bugs.
Yeah, get rid of them.
Who eats bed bugs?
Yeah, eaters? Bed bugs. You got a problem, man.
Yeah, like who's their predator? Nobody.
Nobody really? Nah, nobody.
And then what's like the most missed sign? So like people, would you say it's like the sign that people miss the most that they should look out for? Like that you've seen, like you're like this, like just a simple sign that is missed the most, I guess.
I'd say the most missed sign is probably sawdust. And I say that because termites and powder post beetles, which both are wood destroying insects, when they enter and exit wood, they have sawdust that falls down from the beams. People just attribute that to, it's an old house and the stairs creak and it's dusty, and they just sweep it up and think it's nothing. So that is a huge miss sign, to keep an eye on those sawdust piles and look up. I just tell everyone to just look up. All you have to do is look up, look for any pinholes, look for any insects up there. And, that's definitely something that is missed almost all the time.
Yeah, especially like in the basement. Is it in the basement usually where most of the infestations occur?
Yeah, so with most homes, 9 times out of 10, whether it be rodent or insect issues, it's always going to start at the lower level, which is the basement. If you're on a slab, then you'll notice it in the living areas first. They'll come in that way. Cool.
Yeah. I guess you have to get in from the basement, probably the easiest part to get in, because you get in little holes and get in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Climb on up.
And another thing I tell people too is to go in your basement. Like a lot of people are like, I don't go down there. It's scary down there. I have no reason to go down there. Laundry's on the main floor. Go in your basement, go down with a flashlight at least once every month or two, just to see what's going on. Because if you don't go down there and things are getting in, you're not bothering them, they're going to stay.
Yeah, especially the first thing I look at when I'm buying a property is the basement, if it has one, because that's where the money is. So you got to look at the structure of the property. You want to see if there's any infestations, definitely, for like termites, if there's mold, if there's rotting wood. You want to look for obviously electrical and stuff. So you should be down there anyway all the time, because that's where all like the power from the house usually comes from. That's where the heating system is. So there's no excuse to not go down there. So don't be scared, right, people? Go down there and check it out because
Take a flashlight and get your shoes on and go down.
well, you might one day just all of a sudden fall through your floor and see that termites ate your floor.
Yep. You have to give Dylan a call.
Yep. And then Dylan will have to go fix it.
Yep.
So like in this industry, what are you looking to do? Like, what's your vision for the long term? Are you going to continue just spreading as like help as many people as you can? Do you do any like educational videos and stuff like that for people? What's kind of what's your goals?
Yeah, so my goals are to continue helping people day to day. I definitely want to move up and eventually possibly start my own company at some point once I obtain all the licenses and categories that I need. I'm working my way there. Start my own company, manage a company, and just continue to help people day to day, and educate people. I definitely would not be opposed to doing educational videos and seminars and things like that just to help home buyers.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think I like rarely see a lot of home inspectors posting videos, but not like specific pest like infestation specialists really posting about them.
Right, and I think that's needed because a home inspection is kind of broad. Like they're looking more so on structural things and electrical things. Like they're not really realizing that there could be something behind the wall that they can't see.
Exactly. Yeah, they don't dive really deep into the issue. They usually tell you to go check it out with the specialist, but they do bring it to the attention, which is good.
Yeah.
But awesome. So over your career so far, what has been like the biggest lesson that you've learned?
Well, I kind of like what we were just talking about. The biggest lesson I learned is to just keep your eyes open and look. I mean, there's been plenty of times, where I've fallen through ceilings and I've fallen through stairs and I've fallen off ladders. And the biggest thing is to look because you really need to know what's going on in your own home, why this may be happening, and who to call when it does happen. So the biggest thing I could tell everybody out there, whether you own, rent, flip, whatever the case may be, is to really be thorough and open your eyes and look.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep your eyes open and look around.
Yeah.
Smell the roses, they say in life, right? Especially in your house. Smell the roses.
Right. Smell the dead rats. Yes.
By looking around and trying to find the gross stuff that might hurt your property.
Yeah.
And then I know people always talk about like you go on Facebook, you go on Reddit, and people are always asking like, hey, I got like cockroaches, what do I do? And then people say these like comments of stuff that they think works. What's like the biggest common myth about maybe a couple pests that people try to do to get rid of them, but it just doesn't work, and just don't even try it because people.
So the biggest common, and it may not be just like the pest, but it's what they're getting is if they have fleas or roaches, they're going to convenience stores and buying bombers, right? So what that does is just gonna spread them throughout the house. If you have fleas concentrated in one room, say the dog and cat room, and you put the bomb in there, it's going to spread them. It's going to repel them throughout the house. Now they're upstairs in little Johnny's room, and now they're upstairs in your bedroom. So that is the big. I've done probably thousands of jobs where people have self-treated with the bombing method or the all organic spray where it's pear juice and apple juice, and now you're just feeding the roaches with sugars and proteins. So that's the biggest thing is, certain aspects you can do stuff yourself. You can do pest control yourself, like controlling mice and stuff like that. But when it comes to that, the commercial stuff and over-the-counter stuff, you really want to consult us first.
Yeah, for sure. Because some of the stuff, like you can sell anything online. So I could technically take like a bottle, put like water in it, and then put soap in it, and then put like, I don't know, like vinegar in it, and say like, this is all natural and it's going to kill everything. Just spray it around. And then people will buy it, and then it won't work. But people will buy it. So there's that all over the internet. And, people always do try to find the least expensive way to fix something. But sometimes it's better to just get it done right the first time. And then I'm sure when you're there too, you teach them about preventative measures, and you teach them about maybe next time if you catch it before what to do so it doesn't get to that point.
Of course they do. And especially if they have multiple properties, like you do, like what to look for, when going in and inspecting that property.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cool. So one more question just to bring it back to like go over everything, broaden everything for homeowners and even realtors. What is like one best piece of advice you would give to, people as a whole looking for homes? that are probably now worried about pest problems? Like what's your big piece of advice? I know you say open your eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
Just always look around, but yeah, what would be your one piece
I
of
would
advice?
say, if you're freaking out, if you're paranoid, if you're thinking that, your house may be under attack, or you hear this and you start freaking out, I would say the best piece of advice I would say is just look into signing up for a preventative control, right? Just because then a technician will go out there every month or every quarter just to give you peace of mind that your home is in good standing, you have nothing to worry about, and if you do have issues to improve on, they'll go over that with you and tell you how to improve on them and help you. That's what I suggest preventative for every new home buyer I see, any person who's expanding properties. You just want preventative in there. You want a different set of eyes, an experienced set of eyes, just to give you peace of mind that everything's fine.
Yeah, and you've actually helped a few of my like investor friends with that, because they've had problems and they tried to get it fixed once and then twice. And then eventually they're like, maybe I should just get this preventative thing, because it's just ongoing, especially with mice. Like you said, you can get rid of mice, but they're always going to get into your house. They're always going to find a way, especially when it's winter. They're going to find a way.
They'll always find a way, yes.
Because they're so tiny and your house is
Yeah.
huge. So they'll find like little
They only need
holes.
a quarter of an inch.
Yeah. So they'll find ways no matter what. And like you can't physically, like, you can try to find their entry point, but then they'll just find another entry point possibly.
Exactly. I can sit at a house and fill every hole I find for 4 hours, and they're going to laugh at me and say, well, I'm going to chew a hole next to the hole you just filled. So, you know what I mean? So
it's like a Tom and Jerry episode.
Exactly.
That's what you can't get them.
Yeah.
So just to wrap everything up, is there anything else you'd like to share kind of with everybody here? Maybe your social media handles, your business website, how to reach you, maybe special offerings that are going on in the new year for your business, and maybe like the location that you guys cover, just so people have an idea.
Yes, absolutely. So, I work at Debug Pest Control. We're out of Smithfield, Rhode Island. I cover Mass, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. We're all licensed in all 3 states. If you're having any issues or anything like that, you want to talk to us, just call Debug Pest Control and ask for Dylan. That's all you have to do. Simple as that. And I'll come out there and make an appointment with you. And it takes 2 seconds. I could even do stuff over the phone if you'd like.
Awesome. And yeah, I mean, you guys are pretty fast and you guys are pretty popular because you do such a good job. I looked at your reviews. I think it's like 5 out of 5 stars.
Yeah, so we're growing. We started really small, and over the past couple of years, we've grown so much. Our customer base is just getting huge. We're expanding more now into Massachusetts. Up in the Worcester areas and Attleboro and up there. So if you're in New England, any of those 3 states, and you have any questions, just call Debug and ask for Dylan.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dylan, for your time.
Thank you,
I know you got some stuff to do. You just got home from work, but I appreciate you coming on and giving this information to everybody. It's something that a lot of people miss to look into within real estate. And then when you buy a property and you're like, oh my God, there's pest infestation. And then it just totally goes over your mind because you're thinking about numbers, you're thinking about the structures, you're thinking about how the property looks, the kitchen, the bathroom, but you always forget about there's little bugs, little critters that are trying to get in there. And
exactly,
there's nothing to fear. You always have professionals like Dylan that can help you out. And it's always good to be educated before, so you can see it before possibly walking into a huger mess than you could prevent.
100%. Thank you so much, Del, for your time. I appreciate it. And like I said, anybody out there needs anything at all, call Debug and ask for Dylan.
Yes, sir. That's Dylan Gendreau. I'll see you guys later.
Thanks, Del.